Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for tuning in. It is Saturday, November the 26th, and we are here for the Minnesota Real Estate Show live every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. The show is hosted by Scott Woolmering, myself, Ryan O'Neill, with the Minnesota Real Estate Team Remax Advantage Plus. And of course, our good friends at Luminate Home Loans, excited today in studio. JJ Ellingson with Luminate does an awesome job. Also in studio today is Mr. Steve Stalock with Win Home Inspection. We've got a lot to talk about. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. It's hard to believe Thanksgiving was here, and it's already passed. But hopefully you were able to eat some turkey, have some pie. There was a lot of football going on, but we have got a lot to talk about today with the real estate market, the mortgage market, and good morning, guys. JJ, nice to see you, buddy.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Good to be here. Steve, good to see you.
It is good to be here. It's a beautiful sunny day.
Did you have much turkey or apple pie, Steve?
Plenty. And leftovers.
And leftovers.
You got to have leftovers.
Oh, it was good. Last week had a great discussion on a lot of different topics. This week too, we always welcome your questions, comments, and thoughts. In the first segment, we do an update, mortgage and real estate update, and we're going live on air right now. Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Thanks for joining us. Good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It is Saturday, November the 26th, and we are live here at Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130, every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by our good friends at Luminate Home Loans. Today in studio, JJ Ellingson. And of course, Scott Woolmering and myself, Ryan O'Neill, with the Minnesota Real Estate Team Remax Advantage Plus, live again every Saturday, 10 to 11 on Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130, and on really any and all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever your preferred platform might be. Don't hesitate to join us with any comments, questions, thoughts for the live discussion. You can call us in studio too, 612-294-6949, 612-294-6949. You can call us or you can text us at that number, and we'll take your questions live on air. Good morning, JJ Ellingson, Luminate Home Loans. Great to have you, buddy.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
You have had a busy few Thanksgivings. You got another one today.
I have two. So plenty of turkey to eat, some pumpkin pie, and I'll be full for the next few days.
You will be full indeed, and you're a good man. That's good. Today, which Thanksgiving is today?
My parents.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be up in Elk River.
All right. Very nice.
Smoke a turkey.
Yeah, smoking a little turkey. Again, if you hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Hard to believe we're already again past Thanksgiving, November the 26th. And first segment here, we always do like to dive in real estate mortgage wise, just to give an update where things are at, what's cooking here in the Twin Cities market. JJ, with the current mortgage market, what are you seeing? Interest rates, activity wise, where are things at?
So interest rates, everybody wants to know them. And I think we're past the shock phase. I think the reality of where we're at has set in. In most cases, you're in the mid sixes, that's 6.5% range on a 30-year.
Yep.
So still a good opportunity there. As far as activity, I think we're kind of at the point where a lot of people they're gearing up for the holidays.
Yeah.
And they're kind of on a little bit of a pause, or they're getting ready for the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
Is what we're seeing.
Yeah, and from an activity standpoint, again, you lend, you do a variety of stuff. What's kind of the core of your business, or a lot of the different type of loans that you do?
Sure. So residential loans, obviously, Alex and I do a lot of condos
Yeah.
in Minneapolis.
And he was great last week too. Alex was great. We had some pretty in-depth, heated discussions. Not heated, but fun discussions. Adam Hartong was on, so that was fun.
I did listen to it. It was enjoyable. I liked the little banter, a little back and forth.
So mostly residential, or a lot of residential.
Yeah.
A lot of condo.
A lot of condos. Obviously, we can do single families, but Alex and I have done a lot of Minneapolis condo stuff. Primary residence mostly. I think helping first-time home buyers that are evaluating whether we should continue rent,
Sure.
or buy their first place. We're seeing a lot of that. I think right now, I would encourage people to, I would say, kind of ignore the noise. To me, there's a lot of the headlines of some of it doom and gloom.
Yep.
And we know doing this day in and day out that there's a lot of opportunity. It isn't doom and gloom, in my opinion.
Yep.
I think it's really focus on you in what makes sense, working with your professionals versus deciding, I don't want to buy because I saw this headline or my coworker says, don't buy. I think this is the market that you really got to dig deeper and figure out what makes the most sense for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Again, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you joining us anywhere on social media or Twin Cities News Talk AM 1130. Talking to JJ Ellingson, Luminate Home Loans. He and his team, the entire team at Luminate, really do a great job. JJ, I did want to touch on, before the first break here, an update from the real estate standpoint to look at some numbers here in the Twin Cities, see what's going on. New listings, so new homes for sale in the Twin Cities, down year over year 23%. So 23% less new properties for sale, 866. Pending sales, Steve, pending sales are down pretty significantly, 43% year over year drop in pending sales, 691 accepted purchase agreements. And then the inventory is still very historically low. It did increase compared to last year, 8.6% to 8,732. But still, again, very historically low compared to, again, the last 20, 30 years. And then the median sales price in the Twin Cities is still up. We're at about $355,500. That is an increase of 4.6% year over year. The one I wanted to touch on too is days on market. So days on market has increased 33%. So a third higher compared to last year, 36 days on market. The days on market, guys, is it's hard for agents, for sellers, for everybody that's been so used to the last few years. It's very hard to accept the 36 days. You feel like, what's wrong with the listing?
What is the normal days on market?
Well, again, if we look back, if we just look, and again, a lot of this data we get from our friends at the Minneapolis Association of Realtors. If you look at, again, in 2009, okay, the historical days on market was 165 days.
Wow.
165 days. Think about that.
6 months.
So if you wanted to sell your house in 2009, Steve, it was like an act of God.
That was coming out, or I'm on, right?
Yeah, just a little closer.
Okay.
A little closer.
That was coming after the big crash of the market, though, right?
You're right.
So we were pretty saturated. There were, buyers they were looking at hundreds of houses right before they were pulling the trigger.
Yeah, 160
so,
days.
That was also kind of an extreme and strange. I would not call 2009 a normal market.
Yeah, again, as time went along, though, again, you look back in 2011, we're still at about 160 days on market in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
2013, we're at about the 120 mark. And then it's kind of progressively gone down from there. Since 2013, slowly but surely, it's inched down. So I think part of it is, again, if you are a newer real estate agent, or maybe you're a newer home owner and you're wondering what is wrong, the world's ending.
Mhm.
Rates are at 6.5. It's taken now 33 days for my home to sell, average. It's okay. It's okay. The world is not ending. The real estate market is not ending. The last 2 years have been just historically just off the charts. Crazy, JJ.
Yeah, I think like rate wise and properties moving and over list price and all that, you are 100% correct. It was not the norm. And it is real tough for people to get used to this change where they're so used to their neighbor's place going on the market
Right.
and selling in a weekend. And now it might take a few weekends, which
Well,
is more normal.
right. Right. And that's it. And again, a lot of it, again, comes back to pricing. Super important. Pricing condition is very important, and pricing it according to condition. But you have to remember, there's just not a lot of competition out there. So I know Mike Overson has talked about this the last couple of weeks briefly. He said, this time frame is a very good time frame for buyers to consider purchasing. Now, you may say, well, interest rates are higher. Why would we do that? But again, I think with such a historically low inventory level next spring and summer, we're going to see the same thing we saw this year. Multiple offers, very hard to find any properties, lots of losing out on multiple offers. And so now that there are some cases of multiple offers, but the average list price to sale price, I think, is like 98. So people are negotiating.
Sure.
They're negotiating. They're getting some seller paid closing costs. They're having home inspections, like with our friend Steve Stalock. Different negotiations are happening. So it allows you as a buyer to maybe get a little better deal instead of paying over list price.
Yeah, those seller concessions, I know Alex has hit on this, and I think Mike has too. But those are key in helping a buyer navigate this rate market.
Yeah.
To potentially lower it by buying it down permanently or temporarily. So there are some solutions.
There are solutions indeed. We're at the first break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Always welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Had a little fun with family, friends, maybe a Friendsgiving. We'll talk about the Friendsgivings after the break. So, Steve, are you doing more inspections?
My business reflects the pendings. You
So
said
that's
they
a
were
no.
down
That's a polite no.
43%. We have seasonal change. So in Minnesota, we're
Sure.
going into the winter, so
Yeah.
that always dips.
Right.
But we're also seeing the reaction in buyers to the interest rates. So it's just kind of extra slow. I'm staying steady, but slow.
Yeah, that had a question come in, looks like from an FHA buyer. They said, can I put down more than 3.5% on an FHA loan? JJ, can you put down?
Absolutely.
Why would they do that, or what's that about?
So I think an exercise that I do with my clients is I always show them minimum down, maybe 5% down, 10, 15, 20.
Okay.
So you're going to look at the differences to see what makes the most sense payment wise and where their cash is after that. But to the question, you can put more down. It's just, it might be payment driven. I don't know for sure in their scenario.
And so FHA, they're going FHA, usually credit. Is that the biggest reason?
Well, so that some might think that, but real quick on that, FHA, let's say you're a 680 credit score, which that's a good score. That's not bad. But you compare that to conventional, you're going to see about 0.5% better interest rate on FHA with a 680 credit score versus conventional with a 680. So that would be a reason credit giving them a better rate.
I'd say very good question. Thanks for sending that over. Again, if you're on social media and you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to interrupt us at any point. 612-294-6949, or just comment on the stream that you're actually seeing right there. Steve had this is a question regarding water spigots. this time of year, the question says, do you need to winterize the water spigot? Of course, you do need to winterize it, but what do you do?
Right. Well, first thing, you got to find your inside shutoff.
Mm.
So those can be located in Minnesota. We almost all have basements.
You're in the sun, by the way, Steve. You're getting the glow. That's
We
so
should
nice.
have some fanfare music every time I talk. But need to find those inside shutoffs. You go outside, so shut it off inside. Go outside, open it up, let it drain, and then there's always a little we call bleeder cap on the side of the shutoff valve, and you need to open that up. And that lets any water that's still between the shutoff valve and the outside get out.
Mm.
Otherwise, you trap it in there, and you can still freeze damage that faucet.
Here we go. We're going live on air. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Twin Cities News Talk AM 1130 and social media. And our friend Steve Stalock is with us today, and Steve is shining in our social media feed. Steve, you have the God's goodness raid upon you today, my friend.
Hopefully, we're not getting too much reflection.
Hey, had a question come in from on social media here from my cousin, Mr. Craig Bayland. He said, hello, Brad O says hi from Estero. Hello to Brad. He said, what should a soon to be empty nester do with their big house in the next few months or years? Good question. What should you do with the house? Well, there's a couple options. Of course, a person could always look at renting their property out. The rental market here in the Twin Cities is surprisingly strong. Or I shouldn't say maybe surprisingly, it is very strong from having kind of been in and being in that world for 20 years now. You'll find there's a lot of really good people that rent at all different areas, price points, and ranges for a variety of different reasons. The downside of being a landlord, of course, is maybe dealing with some of the day-to-day hassles. Just kind of the adage of some people say the tenants and the toilets. And so you could have a property management company manage it for you. Someone like Scott Fisick with Rental Management Guys. He's our property management partner with the show. Or again, you could just look at traditionally selling it. Obviously, that's the most common approach. People want their cash. Now they want their equity. Taking that money, they've owned it 2 of the last 5. Had it as their primary residence. It can be a tax-free gain. Taking that money, maybe buying another property with it, maybe investing with it. Any thoughts to add on that, JJ? What a person should do with the selling of the home?
I think you kind of hit on them. Obviously, if they're selling and buying at the same time, and maybe they own their house free and clear right now, probably could put them in a cash position as a buyer, which we know is a good place to be. So, number of things you can do. I think you hit on them.
Yeah, really good points. Again, most common I would say is simply just getting a good market analysis on it. We'd be happy to do that with the team, the Minnesota Real Estate team. We've got a top agent really all around the Twin Cities within a few hours of the Twin Cities. I was talking to our friends Paul Dokauer. So Paul's originally from Duluth, is back up in Duluth, spending a lot of time. So if you're up in Duluth, really Rochester, all over Minnesota, Western Wisconsin, we've got a great agent on the Minnesota Real Estate team that would be happy to give you an idea on value. But Steve, always a pleasure to see you there, young man.
Well, it's great to be here. Just coming off of the Thanksgiving and trying to recuperate from overeating.
Right?
As usual, yep.
You are back. And you said activity-wise down, like the market, down 42%, less pendings. You're seeing less inspections.
Yeah, my business definitely reflects transactions, although I'm still trying to promote, hey, just a homeowner didn't really know what the condition of your house is. Why not get a home inspection? You could learn a lot about it. And I've said over the years that a lot of times homeowners are really the last to know what's going on in their own house.
Right.
So, if you're a homeowner and you're curious and it's like, what things should I be taking care of or what don't I know? That's something else too. So I'm trying to find different ways to stir up a little business.
Yeah. I had another question come in from Lilith. Lilith, I like that name. Lilith sent in a message saying, can I use my VA benefits more than one time for a loan?
You absolutely can. So there's two scenarios there. One, they have a VA loan. They're buying a new property and going to utilize VA, which VA is an amazing product. Zero down, no MI.
Yep.
Another thing is you can have two VA loans at the same time.
Hmm.
It's rare, but it is possible. But yeah, you can use it again.
Okay, very cool. Thank you for your service, by the way, Lilith. Very cool. We do work with a variety of great veterans every year. Our team is honored to work with a lot of awesome veterans. So thank you for your service that you do. Had another question come in. This one is an interesting one. Tom had asked, Steve, do you inspect septic systems?
I don't. Septics are inspected and regulated separately by the state. So you'll have to get a septic. Wells and septics are all done separately. And not part of what I do. So, but during the course of an inspection, I run a ton of water through the home, and we're proving, that the waste system is functional. But I'm not the person that's going to be, scoping out, looking at the tank itself.
Do you do anything with it though, Steve? Like during that inspection with the septic system?
I'm going to identify where it's located and make sure, in terms of its location, that it's not like right next to the location of the wellhead. Make sure we physically are located properly, but beyond that, no.
That's a good question. Actually, we haven't had that one in a while with septic. JJ, do you see a lot of issues with loans on well and septic? Isn't that this time of year problematic with not being able to do the work? The ground's frozen. Do you see a lot of issues with that?
Yeah, I haven't run into that too much, but and partly I focus mostly on the metro area. But yeah, that can be weather in Minnesota for all things well and septic, new construction, work that needs to be done. The weather can play a factor. But Steve, I want to go back to the one comment you made about inspections are not only for sales, but they're for current homeowners. I think about myself.
Yeah.
I'm 10 years into a new construction house, and I'm starting to wonder what things should I be taking care of or
there's a lot of things that happen and go wrong, and homeowners don't know. They've never been in their own attic, so what's going on up there? You should poke your head up, take a look. No one ever does. So
do you do that on each inspection? Do you go into the attic?
When it's physically possible, yes. There are times when it's not possible. Sometimes attics don't exist. At a house last month, there was no attic.
No attic?
Nope. Just the style of construction. There was no attic access.
Okay.
Very interesting, unique house, but no attic. Sometimes it's just physically not possible. You just can't get to them. As much as we try to prep a seller to say, hey, this inspector needs to get in the attic, and you can't get anywhere near it because they've got stuff stored.
Sure.
There's just no way.
Sure.
And then we always have the sealed attic lids, which are supposed to be open, but sometimes aren't. And then try to get permission. We're supposed to be able to open those up, but I always make sure I ask. And a lot of times we're denied and say, no, don't you dare touch that.
Had another question come in from Dave. Dave had said, do you guys do anything different to help me find a property? I'm having a really difficult time finding a property working on my own. In today's age, it is common, I would say, for a lot of buyers with the social media, the internet, to be able to search, to look online all over the place to try to find properties. There is a lot of merit to working with a really good buyer's agent, though, Dave. Part of what he or she is going to do is going to look through all channels for property. So not all property gets listed on the MLS. You would think, hey, it's, everything's going to be on there. And there's a lot of different reasons why people don't always list fully on the MLS. But if you have an agent that is knowledgeable, hardworking, a go-getter, knows the market, he or she can really proactively help you find a property, guys. And that's something that, I mean, I think through our team, through the Minnesota real estate team, we've got a lot of really good agents that are super go-getters that will go out, door knock, send letters to hoods, network with all of our friends at the different real estate companies here in the Twin Cities and beyond.
I will echo that.
Yeah.
I saw an uptick. So this past year, the market was extremely competitive, and I had definitely seen more off MLS transactions where I'd be inspecting. And, so clearly the buyer's agent went out and found a house in the neighborhood because they're very familiar, very networked, and this transaction was happening offline. So if you're not plugged in with a realtor, you would never see that house.
Right.
I think the other thing too is, I've been in a broker before, and one of the things they do is, hey, I have a client looking for this. And that goes amongst all the agents. And I know we have almost 200 right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, oh yeah, I have a seller that's thinking of selling after the holidays. So things come together that way. But then I would also, I think it's a key point to talk about what's the cost to work with a buyer's agent.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, when you're working with that buyer's agent, there's an exclusive buyer representation contract you can have. There's a non-exclusive you can sign as well. Our approach is a little bit unique in that, we don't push a bunch of paperwork at you when we first start going out looking at homes. We want to earn the trust. We want to show our value, help you through that process itself. And oftentimes the sellers, even if it's a for sale by owner, even if it's a non-MLS listing, they will be agreeable to paying out a commission to a buy-side broker. So that seller, in other words, is still willing to pay something to us to bring the buyer. And so that's where, again, it is, to JJ's point, it's something to always think about and consider that, again, if you are frustrated, you're not finding in this limited inventory, 8,000 homes for sale, not a lot of stuff out there, you need a really strong go-getter. You need somebody that's going to pound the pavement for you. And I'll tell you, it makes a huge difference. Again, I can go through our team and I can think of a variety of people that do this and have gotten accepted purchase agreements this year for their buyers simply by not just saying, well, there's nothing on MLS.
Right.
There's no homes for sale, JJ.
Yeah, but also to have that representation.
Yeah.
To help you negotiate that offer, to
Sure.
know the market, what's the right price. I've had scenarios where the agents, hey, this house is $50,000 overpriced compared to the comps.
Right.
That information is valuable.
Hey, we are at the break already. 612-294-6949. Again, 612-294-6949. We've got a great second half of the show. It's post-Thanksgiving. We'll try to keep it lively and fun to help you get out of that food coma, perhaps that you're in. I know that we're all in. It's good to have a little fun, though. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. A lot of good questions, a lot of good comments. Sorry, JJ, you were going to say something.
No, I'm a believer in getting representation. And I think some people feel like I might be getting a deal if I don't have an agent.
That was a really good question, though.
Yeah.
I think in the last several years, purchasing a home's gotten complicated more than ever. And to have someone who that's what they do all the time, they know the ins and outs and some of the nuance to help you avoid really dumb decisions, you got to plug in with someone who knows what's going on. Great question. That was really a good question.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, cousin Craig, hope you're having a little fun. If you're still watching, hope you're having a little fun in Florida. Enjoy some sun for us. We do have. It's funny in here. Steve, the glow's minimizing a little bit.
Going away.
Glow's minimizing, but we're on the upper level floor, and it's just the reflection off the building coming in. But again, hope your weekend is going well. Everybody, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Again, JJ Ellingson, Luminate Home Loans. He and his team do a wonderful job. Really any and all types of financing. We're talking about a buyer's agent, real estate end. we can make all the same arguments for working with a local trusted lender like yourself to help people through that process with the offers, et cetera.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, buying a home is one of the biggest decisions you ever make. And to me, there's something to be said to either be able to call your loan officer or meet them in person. Those things, you'd be surprised how important they become during the transaction.
It
or
is
your
interesting.
search.
Meeting in person, right?
Yeah, or Zoom, I guess.
Yeah, no,
I lump
I
them
like
the
it.
same, you
I
know.
like that. I think, thank you, Mark, fellow agent, does an awesome job. Appreciate your kind comments. He says, keep up the good work. Thank you. Thanks so much, Mark. You as well. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you listening. But I do think that local lender touch is important. Someone you talk to, you can meet that is known, can help you as a buyer in that multiple offer situation, really, or in any situation, to give the seller and the listing agent confidence that the deal's going to get done.
Absolutely.
You don't always have confidence. Not all pre-approval letters are equal. Some are very heavy and wow, this is good. And some are super light.
Yeah, we've absolutely won a few times where you guys have a good reputation. I know they perform. I can tell my seller to confidently move forward with this offer.
A couple interesting questions that have come in. This one says, are there any cons of buying a townhome with a homeowners association?
Don't go online and read social media.
Why do you say that?
All you're going to hear is the amplified stories that something went bad.
With the association?
Living in an association. I live in a townhome association.
Okay, do you like it or not do you like it?
They're fabulous. I tell you, my favorite sound in the middle of winter is the thud I hear at 11 o'clock after it snowed 6 inches.
Ooh, there you go.
Someone else is plowing my driveway.
So
I
benefits.
I like that. They do a good job where I'm at.
Okay, lawn and snow.
Yeah.
What other things do you like about it?
Nothing comes to mind. Just
Yeah.
not, they're doing a good job maintaining. It just had a new roof put on. Those are things that are managed by someone else, not me.
Sure. Negatives, we would say, are what?
Oh, you can't put this flag out on your front door. You can't do this. You can't do that. So it's the restrictions. Those are the things that get amplified.
Yeah, if they're looking at a townhouse or a condo or whatever that has an association, make sure you look at those rules and regulations. Make sure
some don't allow pets.
Right. Or there might be a pet weight limit restriction.
Things like
nothing
that.
over 25 pounds.
Financing is different.
Financing can be a little different.
Is it a townhome? Is it a condo? Is it FHA approved?
Right.
There's a lot of.
Right. But for a lot of people, it's a good lifestyle choice.
Here we go. We're going back live on air. Thanks for tuning in. Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Good morning and welcome. And thank you for tuning in to the second half of the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We are talking about associations and townhomes. We had a question come in about the positives or negatives of living in an association. Steve, you were talking about you get your grass cut, you have the snow done. We were saying, JJ, you brought up a good point of the things you don't like, a lot of restrictions on you can't put this flagpole here, you can't do different things outside. And another good question about this that came in, Ellen said, what is a typical association fee amount and what's included?
Well, that has seemed to range, and it depends on whether we're talking condos or townhouses.
Yeah.
Condos in that Minneapolis area. If I'm working with a buyer,
Yeah.
and I'm just doing general numbers, I'm probably be pushing that $500 a month number on a Minneapolis condo.
Wow. What does that include?
So it depends. Some it'll include your cable, some it'll include your heating. So you'll get an opportunity to look at what is included there. So that it might be worth it even with the higher number because your cable, your heat, basically everything's covered
Okay.
in that scenario.
So cable, heat, internet.
internet could be. So it's each association's different.
Weekly massages.
I would expect nothing less.
That's only in West Bloomington.
Yeah, right. Weekly massages. What else would be nice? I mean, just a nice
Right.
amenities. Maybe delivering your Starbucks daily or your Caribou. That would be a nice
I
amenity.
think we can build our own project. You got some good ideas.
You know what? It's interesting though with the association fee. I was talking to a friend recently, and this is a really good question, Ellen. I'm glad you brought that up because there was a member of the association who was objecting to the amount that the fees increased. And so most of the association was in agreement, hey, we have to increase the rate, the monthly fee because of these reasons. But there was a couple members who really were being difficult about it, finding some things in the documents that said, look, you can't raise the association fees that much. And so I think part of it is the biggest dynamic or the biggest negative I've seen from a real estate end is you're kind of now, you're living in community. And so you have to know the rules, like JJ says. Do they allow dogs? Do they allow rentals? As a buyer, you get 10 days to review those documents when you purchase. It's important to really review those because we've had buyers who find out, oh my gosh, I just closed on this, I can't have a dog. Or
I can't park my car in the driveway.
or there's no, I've seen situations that there's no garage.
Mhm.
That garages are now, you would think a garage is always included with a condo. Not necessarily.
Correct.
Anything else, guys?
No,
you
that
both kind of like Ryan stop with the association.
Yeah, that could be a topic for an entire show.
It
So,
could be.
There's building maintenance, there's insurance. I think one of the things that's really driving a lot of cost increases recently has been insurance.
Yes.
So, you really have to dig in. Like, apparently there was an association and two people dug down into the details. My association publishes everything. Here's what is going on. Here's our balance sheet. And you got to go down and look at it and say, okay, what are they doing? And is it justified? So in that association that you had that story about, a couple of people dug in and had a question and obviously a good concern. So if you live in an association, dig in.
Yeah, Ellen, hope you and the family had a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. Thank you for joining us and your comment. We did have another question come in. This one from Jenny. Jenny just asked and said, is there a market right now at all for real estate investors? Any investors? Any stuff?
I'm not in that right now. So I'm curious to know as well.
Yeah. Well, again, and I can answer that. I mean, I would say what's happened, of course, again, prices have risen a lot, as we know, the last few years. So naturally, a lot of people just say, I'm not going to invest because it's a high part of the market. The reality is we could make that argument multiple times over the last 20, 25, 30 years. Minnesota has been kind of a slow and steady appreciating market. The reason for this, there's multiple reasons. The Twin Cities is a demand area. There's a strong demand for housing in the Twin Cities. What does that do to prices, guys?
Yeah, I believe they go up.
Yeah, prices go up. And so that's part of it is, again, nobody ever wants to overpay. But the thing with real estate investing, you've got to give yourself at least 2 to 5+ years owning the property, getting the benefits of cash flow, of tax savings, of potential appreciation, of paying down the debt over time. I'm a big believer, guys, that there's no bad time to invest in real estate. And again, in a small way, as a small landlord in the Twin Cities, I've seen the benefits over 20+ years now. Again, there's a lot of good people looking for rental housing.
Yeah, I mean, whether you're talking an investor or just your own primary residence, I completely agree with your statement that, it's always a good time to be in real estate. I mean, think about 2008 and 2009, where things were going down and everybody was saying, I
Fear.
wouldn't buy one now, right? Fear. I wouldn't buy right now. If we would have bought back then, I think we'd be pretty happy with that choice.
Yeah, it is. And that's hard. As a home buyer, maybe you're a first time buyer and you're thinking, hey, prices are high, interest rates are high. Mike Overson with Luminate did an analysis a couple weeks ago, and he said, I think it's about 2 years you need to live using past recent historical data in order to kind of break even, where, in other words, owning makes more sense than renting.
Mhm.
And so you got to, if you're going to buy something, give yourself some time. You got to give it some time. And I think, it's more of a longer play. Real estate investing is. It's not a let's put money into crypto, into Bitcoin,
Mhm.
or whatever, and maybe it goes up and doubles by next week, or goes down, or whatever. You're a crypto guy, aren't you?
I don't know about that.
No, I'm just joking.
How could you tell?
No, it's funny because it just seems like everybody's talking about crypto. I had a buddy who asked me this week at church, he says, is anybody buying real estate using crypto? Have you seen it?
I have not. So they wouldn't need me in that case.
We should ask Nick. Nick does an awesome job. Great producer. Nick, are you a crypto guy? Yeah. Bitcoin, were you a Bitcoin person? Yeah, it is interesting how you would think it would be more common. I remember I asked my friend Charity Malmberg, who owns a title company, a great title company, Trademark Title. I said, are you seeing anybody in the title world with Bitcoin or with crypto? And she said no. And they close a ton of files.
Right. And I think the hard part with that is what you would have to do is convert your Bitcoin or whatever crypto to cash. So it's going to look like cash on the title side or that. We do allow some of your down payment can come from cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin, we just got to document it.
Yeah.
But that's allowable.
Convert it to cash, like a big bag of cash.
Cash is king.
Hey, we're at the final break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show, 612-294-6949. We appreciate you joining us. Did have to give a nice shout out. Miss Linda Hip has a great listing. This one is out in Hector, 261 2nd Street East in Hector, listed for $149,900. And Linda said the home's been remodeled inside and out. It's got high-end finishes. It's located on a spacious corner lot, a 1-bed, 1-bath home. She says will not disappoint. It's $149,900, 261 2nd Street East in Hector. Really nice looking property as you look at the pictures here. Check that one out online. Miss Linda Hip has that listed. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show.
Where is Hector?
Hector, Minnesota. Steve's been out to Hector, haven't you?
If I have, I don't recall.
You don't?
I've been everywhere, but I don't recall being to Hector.
We're going to send Steve on a mission this week to inspect in Hector.
There you go.
In fact, we're only going to let you go there.
It
We're not
just-
going to let you inspect anywhere here locally.
It
So
sounds like it's somewhere west.
we're
Just
not
my
gonna-
guess.
When it sells, you're doing the inspection.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, goodness gracious. I had another text message. Well, this is a live on air one, so we'll hit that one after. Hector, Minnesota. We should pull that up to see where that is. JJ, we're going to send you out there. It's 69 miles away.
It's not bad.
It is out in the western burbs. And so 70 miles. Again, driving safely like you do, JJ.
Yes.
You could get there in an hour.
I am I'm no longer the 21-year-old, just fast as I can go.
I'm not either.
Yeah,
Are you an electric car guy?
I don't have one.
You thinking about it?
I've thought about it, but I think I'm going to wait a few years. So
How about you, Steve? Electric cars?
No, but I do see an uptick in charging stations in houses.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of curious, going into a house and seeing the charging stations.
Yeah.
It just is a different electrical setup.
Wonder if you could use crypto to buy an electric car.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sure
you
you
can.
I
could.
think you can.
are you an electric car guy?
You know what? I am. I'm learning. I would say there's a couple agents on the team who are very passionate about their electric vehicles. Mr. Joe Mack. Joe has a Ford
The
Mustang.
I
Wow,
saw
what's it
it,
called?
yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah,
Super cool.
gorgeous color too.
It's like a mock or something.
Yeah, Mach-E.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's what it is. We've got some friends who are big Tesla folks. There's a lot of them on the road now. That's the thing about it. If you're if you're a electric car person, don't hesitate to comment in. What do you like about it? Seems like there are more of them popping up.
Yeah, it's common to see them.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of good questions today.
I wonder if you can get like a loan. You don't do loans. Like, who does loans on cars?
Yeah. Sure. So you probably just go to your local bank then,
Okay.
or maybe if you're buying a Tesla,
Yeah.
they probably have some sort of financing partnership.
Does we gotta ask Mr. Lovins? Does Eric have a Tesla?
He does not.
He doesn't.
Not
Lovins,
that
we
I
gotta
know.
get you a Tesla. We gotta get him a Tesla.
Not that I know of.
He is great guy. He is one of the owners of Luminate too. But Tesla, I could see him ripping around in that.
I could too.
Yeah, we absolutely could. Hey, it's been a fun show. We're in our final stretch here. If you have any other last questions, comments, thoughts, again, talking to Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection, also known as the
Handsome bald guy.
handsome bald guy. We got to buy that URL, by the way. When are we going to do that?
You always ask, and it's like, I'm just not that interested
Just
in
on
doing
the
it. I
to-do
should, but
list.
yeah.
We could do it. The handsome bald guy.
I'll bet a Bitcoin or two, and you could buy it. Right?
Maybe for being such a good partner over the years.
There
we'll buy
you
it
go,
for you.
yeah.
Here we go. We're going back live on air. Yeah. Oh, welcome back. That'll wake you up. Hey, had another text message question come in that says, I'm looking for commercial real estate. Where do I find commercial listings or a commercial agent? Well, we would be happy to help you. We've got some great agents on the Minnesota real estate team who do a lot with commercial. Commercial real estate is a different ball game. Okay, if you're a residential agent, you're listing it on North Star MLS. That's the local MLS. That's where everyone's seeing the property. With commercial, there are different places those listings are found. LoopNet is one. CoStar is another one. There's subscriptions that you as an agent, as a broker, can pay for to get access to that data. It's a whole nother world, commercial real estate. You need a go-getter, again, someone as a buyer's agent to make those phone calls to the listing agents, to proactively reach out, help you find that property. Because commercial is a little bit harder. For having friends who rent different spaces, own different spaces for their businesses and whatnot, it's not oftentimes not as easy as just calling up and saying, hey, I saw your commercial building, call me. Sometimes you need a real go-getter to help you on the buy side to make those calls, make those introductions, et cetera, guys.
Absolutely. And I think the financing is different too.
Yeah. In what ways?
Well, I do residential. So there are people that do commercial only. And I've never done a commercial loan, but I've heard they take longer as well. Just the whole transaction, buying and financing a commercial property.
Yeah, it is, from a commercial standpoint, Steve, it's something that people don't always think about, but again, different amount down, interest rates. Oftentimes, JJ, aren't there like balloons where they'll have it for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? So in other words, you're not doing a 30-year fixed like with Fannie Mae.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an expert there, but I've heard that as well, that they're, 3, 5, 7-year balloons are typical.
So maybe we'll just keep asking you commercial financing questions for like the last 8 minutes.
Yes,
And
I will speculate.
just to welcome JJ on the Minnesota Real Estate Show, we'll just keep going. Then when the emails come out, hey, we need somebody to come on air, we'll hear from JJ. Yeah.
All the more reason to plug in with someone who's got that experience and expertise on your team.
Thank you, Steve. We do. This is actually an interesting question. We haven't had this one in a while. The question was, do all purchase agreements have to be signed electronically now? That's a good one. JJ, any thoughts to add on that?
I have seen the old school signature.
Yeah.
So we don't need an electronic, but I think everybody finds it convenient now, but it's not always the case.
Yeah, it is. It's actually very interesting how this works from an electronic signature standpoint. So again, our friends here locally at North Star MLS, who runs the MLS for all the brokers and all the companies in town, they offer a platform where you have all the documents and you can create the purchase agreements, send them electronically to your customers to sign them, buyers, sellers. Now, there is, of course, as the agent and as the broker, your responsibility is to go over that with people.
I would say that's the biggest mistake people make is
Right there.
it takes you to the signature. It's just click, click, click. That doesn't mean you can't scroll through and read through that. So
Yeah.
highly recommend doing that.
So many times, guys, Steve and JJ, that I've seen where people have signed different things without actually reading it. And so part of it is, and I think to this question, it's a really good question asking about electronic signatures. When I started in real estate, 2001, everybody did things handwritten. In fact, it was in triplicate. So I worked at Edina Realty, had a wonderful manager, still friends with a great guy named Bill Lipka. Bill provided great training to me, and Bill just said, Ryan, everything's signed in triplicate. So you got 3 pieces of paper. One's for you, one's for the office, and who was the third one for? I don't even remember, but
Quiet.
yeah. One for the client, one for the office, one for the, yeah. So anyway, now with that going away, it's kind of foreign to people. If you haven't bought and sold in a while, same thing from a title standpoint. What do you see, JJ, or have you seen anything electronically from a title standpoint?
So we have a few of our documents are electronic, or a consumer could opt in and sign those electronically. Things like the loan application, that's going to be, you're just re-signing that. But they still do the old school, go to the title company, put their signature on the note and the deed and that stuff. So it's partially there for us.
Yeah, really good question. Thank you for that one. We haven't had that one in a while. Thomas says Hector, Minnesota is 10 miles east of Bird Island.
So that leads you to say, where's Bird Island?
Thank you, Thomas. And thank you, Mark, for the nice comment. Mark says, great show, tons of value. Thank you. Where is Bird Island? Steve, that's going to be our new thing for you. We are not going to let you inspect anywhere within the Minnesota or the Twin Cities area. Steve Stalock, the handsome bald guy, is affectionately known as the Hector expert or Bird Island expert.
I feel like I'm being hectored.
You got to give it back to me. That's good. You do give it back to me. Hey, the sun is shining. We're getting a lot of light coming in here here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. But hey, we're at the last few minutes. What do you think, JJ? Moving forward, we're coming up to Christmas, holiday season, New Year's. From a financing perspective, Luminate Home Loans, thoughts on for buyers, sellers in our market?
I would say for buyers, it's probably more about getting ready for next year. Specifically first-time home buyers that may be renting, leases coming due in May, June. That seems like a ways off, but it's a perfect time to do that kind of financial fitness evaluation and see where you stand and starting to get ready. Maybe buying makes sense for you in 2023. Maybe it doesn't, but we have to look at that and help figure that out.
You're a fit guy.
You seen Overson?
Fitness. No, the thing about it too, part of the reason we work with our friends at Credit Life as well, awesome credit company that looking at your credit. I know there's a lot of different apps out there, but Credit Life, Jared Havens and his team really do a nice job helping people of all situations, whether you filed for bankruptcy, whether you've had a foreclosure, whether you've had a short sale, whether you've got all kinds of student loans. There's Jared and his team do a nice job with that, JJ, just to help people wherever they're at.
Well, and if you're starting now, we can get them into help, and we have time to do that. So I think timing is key, and don't wait. Get started now.
Yeah, we like having you on air. We want you to come back more often.
Appreciate that. I love being here. But no more commercial loans.
No more commercial loans. Hey, what is the best way for people to connect with you, JJ, if they're interested, they have questions, fellow agents or clients?
You can go to Luminate Home Loans and find me there. You can also search JJ Ellingson, and all my contact info will show up.
Yeah, again, have fun at your Thanksgiving today. Your
Can't wait.
second one.
Yes.
Second
I got to
Thanksgiving.
squeeze a treadmill
Right.
run in first.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It does an awesome job. JJ Ellingson, Luminate Home Loans. Steve Stalock, Win Home Inspection. Any thoughts for people as we're moving forward?
We're in November, so you asked about winterizing outside faucets. Make sure everything's winterized. Remove your hoses. New batteries and smoke alarms. Throw away smoke alarms that are older than 10 years. And change your furnace filters.
Yeah.
Take care of your house.
Yeah, take care of your house. Steve, you do a great job. Steve works with a number of our agents on the team. You have for a long time. I mean, years upon years. But again,
A lot of good, smart agents.
yeah, a lot of
Because they
really,
refer me.
yeah,
They're
right.
really brilliant. Yes.
And even sellers too. To JJ's point, if you're a potential seller taking advantage of that kind of historically low inventory, hire Steve to do a pre-inspection.
Get ahead of the game. Find out what critical things might slow down your transactions. Like, ooh, I didn't know that. So take care of it before you put it on, and then it won't be an issue later.
I will say, as a if and when we ever sell our home in Bloomington, that's something I'm going to do definitely, because I'm a homeowner that's not super aware of everything. It saves you a lot of negotiations, a lot of headaches post accepted purchase agreement where you find things. Now you become aware. Now you can fix, you can disclose, do what you need to do. It makes life much better, Steve.
Yep. I've always tried to be proactive. And as we always say, information's king. So when you have more information, you're going to make better decisions.
But you can also call Steve if you're not planning on selling, like we talked about earlier, and you just want to know where your house is at,
Yep.
if there are any issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, best way for people to reach you.
Phone number is 952-891-4455. But even easier is go to mnrealestateshow.com, preferred partners. Go down to home inspections and click on that handsome bald guy.
And Steve does do inspections all in the Twin Cities.
All over. All over.
He's a good man, Mr. Steve Stalock. Great job, guys. Steve,
Thanks.
JJ, thanks for
Thank
being
you.
on. Nick, thanks for being here, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, I appreciate Nick coming in on a Saturday holiday weekend. Grateful for him and his kind work. The Minnesota Real Estate Team, we're here to help you. Reach out anytime. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Take care. Thanks for joining us. Fun show. We appreciate it. And a lot of good questions, comments, thoughts. Guys, enjoy the weekend.
You too.
He's going to be extra thankful.
Yes, extra.
Extra thankful.
Extra thankful indeed. We'll be back next Saturday. If you ever have any questions, topics you want us to hit on the show, please don't hesitate to let us know. Take care, everybody. See you soon.